Sometimes the absence of something can tell us about the characteristics of that thing, such as when a nation's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy group consistently ignores stories about violent Muslims. It is then that you know you have a security risk.
Valley woman arrested at Sky Harbor Airport accused of trying to head overseas to help Al-Qaeda. ABC 15's Mike Pelton learning more about the woman and new details in the case.
Well, 35-year-old Jill Marie Jones is accused of sending money to who she thought was a member of Al-Qaeda. It was an undercover FBI agent. Her alleged attempt to make it to the Middle East only got as far as Sky Harbor Airport. The complaint notes Jones even sent $500 via a prepaid gift card, allegedly to help buy scopes for rifles that Al-Qaeda could use to kill American soldiers, potentially funding it with coronavirus money. The complaint quotes her as saying to an undercover agent, "Since because of coronavirus, we all got government money, free money basically," then adding, "It would be most ironic the money from that goes for this. They give us free money and I turn it around on them." Here's ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett.
I think that the pool of people that very similar to this case is a large number. Is it millions? Of course not. But could it be multiple thousands of people? And I think the answer is yes.
Conspicuously missing from this story is any statement from CAIR. Well, why would that be? Al-Qaeda attacked America on 9/11. This would have been a perfect opportunity for CAIR to get on TV, promote their brand, pay lip service, talk down to people, boss them around, and call for someone's firing. You know, all the things they like to do on TV. But they weren't there. So where were they? Well, they were looking at this and denouncing this.
Only white lives matter.
25-year-old Itzel Lopez and her boyfriend became the target of vandalism and a racist rant captured on camera in Torrance. Lopez tells me the attack was unprovoked.
They were upset. I don't know why. They followed us for miles until we came to a complete stop because they cut us in front.
Both the driver and passenger stepped out. That's when she started recording.
White power, 81. 81.
Crazy. At one point, you see the man do a Nazi salute in front of Lopez's boyfriend, who's black. Then he grabs something from the bed of the truck and approaches the driver's side.
When he came out the car, he had something and was hitting the car. I was so afraid. I didn't know what else they had in their car.
These are photos of the damage to their car, and the incident took an emotional toll. Torrance police are now investigating it as a hate crime.
In a statement, CAIR LA Executive Director Hussam Alouche said, "We have warned that normalizing hate speech leads directly to hate threats and hate attacks. The increase in threats and violence are the direct result of irresponsible attacks from the highest levels made against members of marginalized communities." But did you know that criticizing CAIR is also hate speech? According to CAIR, Gerardo Mayagoatisha needs to lose his job because he criticized CAIR on Facebook. Here's what Mayagoatisha said. Congressman Ilhan Omar has no problem with what happened on 9/11. As a matter of fact, she belongs to CAIR, an organization that supports terrorists who were involved on the attack of the World Trade Center. Here is what CAIR said in reply. It is reprehensible that an elected official would use their social media to spew such hatred and bigotry. Mr. Mayagoatisha is making blatantly false accusations about Representative Omar and CAIR. Anti-Muslim hate has exponentially increased over the past few years thanks to the normalization of hate speech, especially from positions of power. We call on Mr. Mayagoatisha to apologize for his post and resign from his position. This is a very well-established pattern. CAIR ignores stories about violent Muslims while obsessing over the activities of white people or critics of CAIR. Here are only a few of the reams of stories about violent Muslims that CAIR has ignored recently.
Two officers standing on foot post Wednesday night. That's when police say the suspect pulled out a knife and stabbed one of the officers in the throat. As the suspect ran and fought, police say he was screaming Allahu Akbar, or God is great, fighting with cops for control of one of their guns. Even getting off several shots during the struggle, hitting two officers in the hand. Although they say Zenon Kamovich posted anti-cop writings on Twitter, They want to know if he was inspired to strike by ISIS.
FBI says these 3 men from the Lansing area are now locked up and facing charges for planning to join forces with the terror group ISIS. According to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, the men are identified as 23-year-old Mohammed Muse, 26-year-old Mohammed Haji, and 20-year-old Muse. All 3 are naturalized U.S. citizens born in Kenya, who allegedly spent months discussing allegiance to ISIS through online videos that got the attention of undercover agents.
Men will remain behind bars pending trial. If convicted, they face up to 20 years in prison. Reporting live, Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.
On the same night that Minneapolis' 3rd police precinct burned last month during the riots in the wake of George Floyd's death, the ATF says Jose Falon set fire to several businesses. Video the Bureau released shows Falon running away from a smoky area. He and his wife are still on the run.
Jose Falon is the primary fugitive in this case, and he is charged with multiple counts of arson out of the District of Minneapolis, Minnesota. His wife, her name is Mena Youssef, she is charged with aiding in his escape.
Falon has a tattoo with his wife's name on his arm. She has been known to remove her hijab or wear disguises like wigs, hats, and hair extensions.
2 lawyers charged with firebombing police vehicles had their bail revoked by an appeals court this weekend.
This won't ever stop unless we take it all down. Got to stop. And the only way they hear us is through violence.
Again, this isn't an oversight on CAIR's part. They spend tens of thousands of dollars to monitor the media.
We have a number of databases. We have Cision, we have Meltwater, we have TVIs, all of these if people are in.
The extent of CAIR's influence in the media is quantifiable. CAIR had a media analyst appraise their access to the media at $143 million, and that is just 1 year. In one of CAIR's latest annual reports, they talk extensively about how they diligently shape narratives through well-coordinated media campaigns to receive top-tier media attention about stories that may have nothing to do with them or seek to pressure people out of their jobs. Again, none of the stories CAIR showcases in their reports are about confronting violent Muslims or obnoxious imams. That's just not what they do. What they do is police American society. And this is made all the more significant because CAIR has terror ties themselves. Do you think it's worth knowing that the nation's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy group is sympathetic to terror? Is it newsworthy that you can be fired for any reason or no reason at all by the Council on American Islamic Relations?